So cool. So I hope you all remember like what we were doing last week. So last week we started with this, right? So basically creating a subscription-based digital solution for smart bikes. And this was the project brief with the key objectives and the scope of work and deliverables. And here, when we talk about the deliverables, it's what is basically a digital solution. And we talked about that, yes, we'll be building a mobile app. So somewhere I think like I've mentioned that, yes, we'll be building the mobile app. And then in the last week, I also talked about that, yes, whenever you're starting any project or working on any product, you should conduct alignment workshops and try to get answers to as many questions as possible. So that's what we did. So basically, we wrote down some of these questions. So यहाँ पे आप देखोगे तो यहाँ पे सारे कुछ questions है यहाँ पे, right? So उन क्वेश्चन के आंसर लेते हैं हम पूछते हैं जो भी इंफॉर्मेशन होती है एंड देन आफ्टर दैट कुछ सेकेंडरी एनालिसिस सेकेंडरी रिसर्च हमने किया तो बेसिकली उसके लिए हमने कुछ लिटरेचर रिव्यू किए और कुछ एक्सटर्नल पार्टीज जो है एक्सटर्नल कॉम्पिटिटर्स है उनको हमने एनालाइज किया उनके कौन से प्रोडक्ट है उसके बाद में रिसर्च इनसाइट्स मार्केट इनसाइट्स उनको गैदर किया एंड उसके बेसिस में हमने केस बनाया कि हाँ वट एवर वी आर वर्किंग ऑन मेक सेंस एंड सो ऑन. Then after that, I also talked about that, yes, when you're done with your secondary research, you should conduct your primary research. And when I say primary research, research start karte hain with the survey. We try to connect with people by circulating survey, getting response, and then recruiting participants for the interview. And once we are done with the interview, we basically get a lot of good insights, and we then convert those insights into different artifacts like affinity map, empathy map, persona, right? So though I did not teach in detail like how to create all these things, but yes, still, I mean, like, I have presented few of these. So basically, if you see, this is the persona, okay? So there are three personas, like one is the Alex, the urban commuter, the other is Sophia, and the other is third one is the Mike, the adventurous explorer. So like 32, 21, 40. So that means हमारा जो product है, ये सब target group के लिए बनाया जाएगा, ठीक है? And एंड सो ऑन. सो या ये हो गया. अब इसके बाद में हमने कुछ लिखा था जॉब्स टू बी डन लाइक कम्यूट टू वर्क रनिंग रन्स एक्सप्लोरिंग न्यू एरियाज स्टेइंग फिट एंड हेल्दी रिड्यूसिंग कार्बन फुटप्रिंट एंड कन्वीनियंस. एंड देन हमने कुछ लिखा था हाउ माइट बी स्टेटमेंट along with that use cases for both the new user and returning user and some user flows. And this was where we stopped, right? We stopped here. So basically with the information architecture or the sitemap. So this is basically a sitemap. Information architecture में और भी चीजें आती हैं. तो अब हमारे पास ये एक स्ट्रक्चर तैयार है. तो लेट्स नाउ रिफाइन दिस इफ रिक्वायर्ड एंड देन क्रिएट स्टार्ट वर्किंग ऑन द डिजाइन. सो इसी को रिफाइन करता हूं मैं. सो नाउ आई मीन लाइक सिंस आई विल बी बिल्डिंग मोबाइल ऐप, आई डोंट वांट टू हैव लाइक 1 2 3 4 5 6 different sections. I just want to have like 5 section. So what can I do? So let's see. So what can happen is find a bike and reserve a bike, right? This can be like one. So we can group this into one, correct? So this one and this one can be together. And we'll see. We can also club this together. Perfect. Cool. So we'll see that when doing our design work. So now we have this. So what's next? What should we do next? So generally we start with the sketches. Okay. Lo-fi wireframes. Let me call it wireframes. Cool. So now we have this. Now let's start with the wireframe. Okay, so we'll start with the wireframe. So what I'll do is I'll open Figma. So I have Figma in front of me. I mean, like I've opened the Figma software application. Now, what I'll do is I'll start with or by selecting the right frame or the artboard size. So here, let me start with this 375 by 812. So this is my this. Now we'll think about two things, okay, when creating the designs. So two types of users, right? New user and a returning user. So you should be doing the sketches using pen and paper, but I'll straight away go and like create the lo-fi design. So when I say lo-fi designs, let's start with the basic things. So what should happen, or what would be the flow for the new user? So new user, what we can do is we can start with 01 user flow, and that is basically registration. Okay, new user registration. So now this is the main screen. So what we can do is this can be the splash screen. So logo here, I can just I'll name this as 01 splash. Logo can come here. Then okay, before this, I'll do one more thing. So I'll set the column structure for my design. So I'll go to this layout grid and then click here. And instead of grid, I use column. So I'll go to column, select 6 column structure, and define the margins and the gutter. So I generally use 8 as my base number. So let's use 8 into 3 is 24. So I'll try and keep 24 as my margin on the left and the right. And this the gutter, let's keep it 16. Perfect. So now I have this frame. I have the column structure set. But again, this is like too dark. So what I'll do is I'll convert this or change this property from 10 to 2 or maybe 3. 2 is fine, I think, for now. So yeah, so we have this splash. Now would come the initial walkthrough screens. So I'll start with walkthrough or the intro screens. Intro, or let's call it walkthrough. 01. And here, what I'll do is I'll just for the time being, I'll just create a design. So this can be my image. And since this is a new product, and for the new user, since I want to, like, let's say, uh, give a lot of information to them so that they know what this product is all about. So let me try and have like 4 of these, center align, done. And we can have like some text here. So let me call it as, welcome to the product name or service name. We'll decide all those things later. Okay, so let me keep this as is for now. Central line. Let me have some subcopy. Let me reduce this to 16. Okay, just observe me. Okay, what I'm doing and how I'm doing. I want to what? I mean, like I use some dummy text. So what I'll do is I'll install this plugin called Lipsum. So I'll go to Lipsum. Okay, run this and generate words. Perfect. So I have this now, right? Some dummy text here. Now, this is, I think, looking big, so I can make it 14. And whenever I'm using this any text paragraph, what I do is I change the spacing between the lines. So generally, I follow this formula 1.5 into font size. That's 14. So this helps in better readability. So that's why I use this. I can convert this into bold. I think like we are good. And think about this. Now, if the user is online, so what, and on this screen, so what are the different things that the user should be able to do? One is basically swipe left and right to read what's next. And the other thing is, if the user is not that techie, so he or she might not know like that, yes, they can swipe and, go to the next screen. So what we'll do is we'll use buttons. So let me create this. So basically, I generally use 48 pixel, 56 pixel. So minimum is 44, but for the time being, let's use 48 pixel for the height. Okay. And since this is for the new, I mean, like for everyone, I mean, like all age group. So I'll try to create soft edges. So let me try with 20. This is too much. So let me try 16. It's fine for now. Let me try 4 here. Perfect. Looks good. Let me convert this into this, and let me write something here for maybe like, next. 20 is too much. So let me just convert this into 16. Do I want bold? Yes, no, we'll see. Let me keep it medium for now. Okay. I'll teach you one more thing later on, but yes, for now, just follow me because we're just creating some structure. Now here what I want is the icon. Okay. I mean the back icon. I don't want this basically back here. or we can have back here. So in that case, what I'll do is I'll just convert this into this outline button. And here I'll call this as back. Again, there are so many different ways how you can create this, but for the time being, let's use this. Let me stretch this. I'll show you, I'll talk about the components and how to build components and all those things later, but for the time being, I think this is good. Okay, now let's go to the next one. This is the first screen. Let me make this black. Now this is the second screen. Let me make this black now. So basically we want 4, right? So copy the properties. I hope you are able to follow me.
Yes, sir.
Okay, let me make this. Again, you'll have to have like different headline. For the timing, I'm just keeping it as it is. But yes, when creating the hi-fi designs, we'll convert these texts to something real. Okay, and now perfect. So now we are on the screen, correct? And now instead of saying or calling this as next, like we can say like, get started. Perfect. So our initial intro screens, walkthrough screens is done. And now we'll start with the registration. Okay. So what should we do? We don't need this now. We don't need this now. I'll take this up and we'll say like, new here, register. Fine. And you can have like one line explaining like, what could be the benefit, how they can benefit XYZ, but again, not necessary. Now what I'll do is I'll use try to basically create a very basic experience for the onboarding. So this should be left aligned. Again, I should be creating component, but I'm not creating because this is my initial I mean, this is a start work. I'm just starting. So here I'll be doing a lot of changes, and also I'm not going to create any style guide on and components. I do that once I'm happy with some design, some structure. Okay, so now I have this. Let me stretch this for now. And let me call this as full name. Okay, and I generally use lighter for this, lighter color. Perfect. So generally for this, I mean, we don't need to ask a lot of details. We can just ask like 2, 3 things. This is the mobile and email, and we are good. I'll also keep what, I mean, here we should have back icon, right? So for that, what I'll do is let me use which, uh, okay, let me see. I think it's feather icon. Let me try. Okay, for now, this is fine. So we have back arrow, we have this. But in case, let's say somebody wants to use social media, if we want to allow social media also, so we can have like something like this. Okay, get started or continue with. Okay, let's keep it bold for now. Let's say I want only to how many? Let's see. So let's see. Facebook, we have. Yes. Do we have Google? No. LinkedIn? Yes. Let's say what else? So let's say we want to also allow different social platforms or login to social platforms or social accounts. So let's try to have one more. And so
Gmail.
yeah, I'm not getting the icon here from here. So let's see, Gmail.
Twitter, sir.
No. Hmm?
Twitter. Option.
TWI. Okay. See, I mean, like this is just for demo, right? I'm just explaining it. So I'll use Twitter for now. And I think we are good for now. Let me just align this properly. Okay. So I want how much? 16, right? Why? Because my column uh, that gutter speed is what? 16. So this is fine for now. So let me just, oops, let me group this first and then align. Okay, so now let me try again. Yeah, perfect. Okay, I can make this smaller also. This is too big for now. So good. And I can also have like what? So something like already a user log in with your uh, log in with your username and login here, maybe something like this. And again, I can make this aligned and all those things. For now, I think this is fine. So we have our basic structure. Now, when you're designing, so you should also, since you'll be testing this, right? I mean, like when you have this, you will go ahead and test your wireframes by creating prototype. So what I always advise to do is to to make it look like real prototype, real application. And for that, when I mean that, I mean to say that you should be giving a real experience. So something like this. And this can be now black. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so aligned. Perfect. Again, I should have created component, but since I'll be doing that later, so I'm not going and doing that right now. But because just I'm trying to explain, that way you learn more, okay? So let's say plus 9, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. And also here, you should also take over about small things. For example, this should be auto-populated, right? Based on the country from where the user is trying to log in with an option to change the country code. These are very small things, but adds a lot of value. Let me make this 12. Oops. Okay. Perfect. Now this is done. So basically our registration is done, right? And then we can remove all. Okay, we don't have, I don't see this. This is AI is fine. Oops. AI is fine. Perfect. So now what should happen after this? We should always, I mean, like whenever we are building an experience or taking the user through an experience, we should always give feedback to the user. So that means registration successful. REGISTRATIN. Perfect. Okay. And we can have like some subtext if required. If not, then that's also is fine. I'll go ahead and like run this again to find some good icon like check. Perfect. Let me change. Again, look at it this. Okay. So the icon size that I've used, the smallest is how much? 24. Fine. So again, oops, let me link it. 48. Small. Let's have 60 pixels. Or maybe we can increase the to 72 or 84. I think this is good. Okay, we can centralize this. Something happened. Okay, okay, no worries. So we have this now. We have the registration success message and all. And here, what we can do is we can have two different interactions here. Okay, so one, we can give the option to continue, or automatically also we can take the user to the dashboard. So this is all good, right? And then the user lands on dashboard. So we can create a note here for ourselves, for other designers. Perfect. So our one flow is done. And whenever you're creating any flow, so you should always write down, okay? So for example, this is 36, let's say. New user registration. Okay, so here it should not be new user registration, new user, let's say. Yeah, fine. Walkthrough. Okay, new user. Here it should be registration. Perfect, perfect. So, and then we'll have, this should be two. And then this should be three. Let's say login. Login will be for both, for everyone. This will be a universal experience, right? So I'll just keep it as it is. I'll not write new or existing. So now, so here I'll just flip this. I'll just keep this as my for my reference. So already a user, and then we can say like login XYZ in subtext. Oops. And and then here we can have like, mobile number. Okay, sorry, I just forgot one thing. We should also have the verification flow, right? Before the success, there should be OTP verification. Okay, verify. And I don't remember exactly like what should have on the verification screen. So what I'll do is I'll go to Google, I'll go to Chrome, and then try to see like PHR. I'm opening Chrome. Okay, I'll just pull some screen for my reference. So OTP verification. Just going to Google and copying 2, 3 screens here from Google. Oops, this is too small. Okay, perfect. So I'll just mimic this. And later, what I do is basically once I have something, I go and check with my developers and try to, know, like if I miss something, try to find out, if there's anything else that I should be adding. Okay. Because as a designer, as a user, you'll not have complete understanding or you'll not know everything about what should be added, what should not be added. So, okay, this is very perfect. So now let me change few things here. So basically what is happening here? See, now you have something, right? You can say like, okay, so we can call it verify or verification, whatever that is. And then you can say like, uh, uh, 4-digit code has been sent on your email and mobile. Please use the same, enter same, enter same to verify your, so or to complete the registration. Perfect. And now what we'll do is we'll just remove all these things and we'll remove everything. We'll have this verify and we'll try and use this blocks. So I'll remove this. I'll just use one of this, remove all and dot. Yes. So what should be the spacing? 16. And I'll just do this. So we have these four blocks, right? Now we should also give them option. Okay. So for example, this is valid for how much? So we should also add those things, those information. Code, we have set it in code, right? Code valid for on only for. I'm just adding content here just to explain you, okay? Otherwise, I would also have used just some dummy text. Let's say 3:15 minutes or 3 minutes 5 seconds. Again, or let's call it as 3:15s, something like that. Okay. And then you can also have like another link saying like haven't received recent. Perfect. And see one more thing you can do. I can just pull this here. Maybe like I can have this here. Okay, it's fine. Okay, now check this. So here what's happening is what has happened in the sample screen is that they have already popped up the number keyboard, right? So you should also do that. That will help them help remove one tab, right? So now the user won't have to like click on the input box, this input box. Why? Because the number is already number that keyboard is already popped up. So yeah, so you can reduce the effort of the user by looking at small things. But yes, for now, I'll just keep it as it is. We'll improve this when creating our hi-fi design. Fine. So we have this verification, and then the user adds the verification. They should be disabled for now. For that, I'll just use this copy properties. Okay, let me wait. Okay, wait. Okay, and then the user enters the code here. Perfect. Always when we're creating your designs, your design, each and every element should be properly aligned. Okay. I'll also discuss about the spacing and all those things, but for now, we are good. Now we land on where, I mean, the login screen. So login, yes, the user comes. And what will happen here? So, okay, let me, so login, so enter mobile or email. Why? Because I don't want to like, take them through a lot of steps. I don't want them to remember password. So my process will be what? Will be just based on the OTP verification. So perfect. So enter mobile or email or continue with this. And then we can select new user or new here, new user, registration, register here or register now. Okay, perfect. I can remove all this, just copy paste this. I can take this up also here. Again, the spacing should be same as on other screens, but for now I'll just continue like this. Then the user, let's say, enters. We should use components, but for now I think that's good. Let's say he enters or she enters james.bond at jamesbond.com. So now what should happen? The user should land onto the same screen, verify, verify, verify. See what we're doing? We are reusing the screens. Okay, everything remains same. And then here we don't need to like have this screen. Straight away take them to the dashboard. Make sense, right? So perfect. Now let's go to the dashboard. And let's now pull this there. So the first thing first, I'll first create the bottom nav. And again, whenever you're creating any design, you should all keep, you should test your design again and again. For example, like let's say I've created this, right? So let me go here and see whether the sizes and everything is good or not. And I do remember, I do know all these things like, like what should be the size of the body font, 16, 14, 18. Why? Because I've created so many designs. So you should also, you'll get to know all and remember this as in when you create more and more designs. So for now, I mean, see, the design looks fine. The font size is also fine, right? See, now that changes. Now this, this verification, da da da, and registration successful. And then we come to uh, the login screen. Okay, I need to change this to login. Code, and then the dashboard. Perfect. I think this looks nice for now. Let me change this to login.